it's good to have you around once again on the Champions Den. I am Naomi Oba. Meanwhile, I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our official TCD YouTube channel. But if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Click on the notification bell to get the notification of all our updates. Today I'll be hanging out with Reverend Mike Salam, who will be telling us his story and telling us some things that you and I need to know. I'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere, stick around. Welcome back. If you're just joining the program, this is the Champions Den, hanging out with Naomi Oba. Like I said earlier, I am with Reverend Mike Salam, who is the district overseer of the 4 Square Tomori district. He's a marriage counselor, he's a teacher, and has been married for over 23 years. And he has been pastoring for 27 years. Like, that's a great achievement. Will you say that? Yes, of course. And I have here with me Reverend Mike Salam. Hello, sir. It's good to have you today, and thank you for having us.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, and knowing fully well that you're a pastor. Of course, we know a pastor, a reverend. You have been pastoring for quite a long time now, 27 years at least. Any woman at the age of 27 is already ripe for marriage.
Sure.
So we want to appreciate everything that you have been doing so well in the ministry.
Thank you.
But first and foremost, let me ask, how has the ministry been?
Well, it has been challenging all the way.
Okay.
27 years. It's not 27 days.
Yes.
Not 27 months. So it's been, it has been a period of ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
But God is faithful.
How did you start?
Well, I started as a youth.
Okay.
By the grace of God, I'm about 50 years now.
Wow.
So, and God called me while I was still a youth. It was not easy. Because like every other young man, you have your own ambition.
Yes.
You want to do this, you want to do that.
Definitely.
But when the call came, I was like, no, I want to do certain things. So when I am older, I will now go into the ministry. But the way God dealt with me was such that I couldn't dodge it. I have to agree with God, and I thank God for it today. The journey was not easy, but God has been very faithful.
Like before the calling, what exactly was what you had in mind to do?
My calling, like I told you, is a full-time calling. God didn't allow me to venture into any other thing.
Okay.
And I was actually planning to go for a particular course. I actually got the admission to read town and regional planning.
Wow.
And the admission letter is still with me till today.
Seriously?
I tell you. So that in a day like this, I'll be able to make reference to it. So, but God said no, I shouldn't go. So I was like trying to play on God. Each time I say yes, I will obey you. So I will have a kind of peace in my mind. But the moment I begin to think otherwise, my peace will totally go. So I had to comply with God, and I have to go on full time. And I was trained in Life Theological Seminary. So I finished my diploma and went back for my degree program. And after finishing that, I continued with my pastoral studies. And as I grow in ministry, I see the need to further my education in order to prepare myself for future relevance. So I have to go for master's again, though not in our own seminary. I went to West African Theological Seminary, so in Lagos there too. So, and I have been learning all the way. As I speak to you today, I am a student of Olabisi Onabanjo.
Wow.
Still doing another master degree there.
In pastoring.
Still pastoral.
That's great.
pastoral career is not such that was attractive. So they see people going into pastoral work as people who cannot make it in life. So it's like once you choose that path, you should forget about prosperity. You should forget about something good in life. And we also saw how people were living in those days. So nobody want to go that way. So even pastors who were like into full-time in those days would not even want their children to go. So if you now say God call you, it will mean that you also want to go the path they have gone. So that is why sometimes it's very difficult for somebody to submit himself or herself to the will of God in those days. But by the grace of God, we were able to skate through that hurdle. By the grace of God, I gave my life to Christ. I was a Muslim. So when I gave my life to Christ in Fosqua, that was 33 years ago, 1987, we were taught that we need to go through certain teachings that will help us to become strong in faith. And some of the things we were told, number one is that we are all sinners and that we need to give our life to Jesus. And after giving our life to Christ, it does not end there. We need to also learn how to become strong in faith, because temptations are always there. The things you were used to, when you have not given your life to Christ, they will still be pursuing you sort of. So, but when you submit yourself to the teaching of the Word of God, you are able to overcome them. And so holiness is part of our teaching, that we need to live a holy life. We need to separate ourselves for God. So we consecrate ourselves, and a life of faith that we need to also imbibe, that most times you may not even see what you believe, but you just have to believe because of the faith which you have in God. And that has really helped people like us for these years.
Okay. So, like in conclusion, you are telling us your core values are: one, you have holiness, you have
faith in God,
faith,
your belief, your trust in God,
integrity,
and but you have to start with salvation. Very, very important.
So everything falls back on salvation.
That's the foundation. I don't know where the person got his statistic, but I want to say that it is even the church that is helping family life today. Assuming there is no church, can you imagine what our society will look like? So I will not subscribe to the fact that the church is the main cause of divorce or whatever the person believes. Rather, I will only say that divorce is everywhere and not peculiar to a particular family or a particular nation. And it has been ongoing, even right from the Bible days. If not, God would not have spoken in the book of Malachi chapter 2 verse 16. He said, I, God, I hate divorce. You understand? Okay. So that is what I would say for now. Then when we are now talking of what is causing divorce, is another subject altogether. Because what is causing divorce in a particular family may not be the same thing in another family. You understand?
Yes.
So, and we know that before divorce will definitely occur, there must have been some problems, which the two parties that are involved, I mean the husband and wife, they have not been able to resolve amicably.
Yes.
when you are unable to forgive your partner, there will be a problem. Because there's no one who is perfect. The two people that are married and that are staying together, they are not perfect people. They will definitely offend each other. But ability to hold on and be able to forgive each other make you to keep on in the journey. So, but where somebody say, no, enough is enough. I can't take it any longer. You have to pack out of this house. That is where the problem comes. And unfortunately, when you think there's a woman outside there and you are bringing the person in, thinking that will be an angel
solution to the
or solution to the problem, you are making a very big mistake, because you soon discover that that person may even be worse than the person you have driven out of your matrimonial home. You understand? So there is no way we will not offend each other. And lack of understanding is another issue. So when you don't work with understanding with each other, there will be a problem. So ability to understand yourself, that is what we call temperament. So study the temperament of your spouse, then you are able to manage the person. So that is another area that I would say that is causing divorce. And when people are not also, maybe they don't go through the counseling session during their courtship days, things that they should know, and they don't know it, they just found themselves in marriage, that will be a problem. For me, like my very self, I went through counseling session for about a year. Wow. And we caught, I think 3.5 years we were in courtship. Wow. So, and I was privileged to stay under a leader who by the grace of God today is one of the counselors we have in Nigeria, and a minister almost everywhere. He goes to Redeem, go to First World. That is Elder Mrs. S.Y. Ochewa, the ambassador, college chairman. You understand? Yes. So you can't sit under people like that and learn, and then you fumble in your marriage, except you don't imbibe the teachings that is given to you.
Earlier you talked about divorce, the cause of divorce, lack of understanding, and when you don't, unforgiveness, and when you don't understand yourself, there are things that will happen that the man will just say you should pack out of the house. But I want us to also look at cases like this where the life of the woman is at stake, and this is bringing me to a video clip which we will want to watch. But before we answer that question, let's go on this break and to see the video. We'll be back.
No! No, it's not okay, Barbara. It's not okay. You cannot defend him. It's not okay.
It's the same sister that you fucked up. What did I fuck up about my sister? What did I fuck up about my sister?
Perry, what did I tell you? Let him go in the room.
Perry, leave him alone.
You should go. We don't need this right now. Okay. All right. But you are the same person who supported me at the wedding, right? I was supporting you at the wedding because you were fake. You were fake. You were lying.
Perry.
You were fake. You and everybody that follows you. You were fake. I supported you because I told you were different.
So now you
are not like your family.
Support your sister.
Yes, I'm here to support
the
my
same
sister.
sister.
And I'll always
the pastor told you that she was a witch.
Which pastor? Name that pastor. Name that pastor. Which pastor told you my sister?
The same sisters.
Which pastor? Name the pastor. You are a pastor. You don't know whether you are or not. You are a pastor, my friend. Get the fuck out of here before I fuck you up. We didn't come here for you. We did not come here for you. Don't let me hurt you. Leave. We didn't come here for you. We came to get something.
Can I promise you something?
Promise me.
If I don't kill your sister,
Then me, I am speak.
You're welcome back, Pastor. Like, you can imagine what we just saw. A pastor who actually beat up his wife. After this video, it was now reported that this pastor followed the wife to her place of work and shot her dead. Gave her 7 shots, according to reports. Now, in this case, before the incidents of the lady losing her life, what would you have advised the lady to do?
Well, thank you. I think before that incident happened, they supposed to have separated, at least for some time.
Okay.
That break could help them to have a rethink whether they are going to go together again in the journey or not.
But this man is a pastor.
Well, you call him a pastor,
Okay.
but the way he has acted, is he really a pastor?
That's a
Even a brother should not do what he has done if the person genuinely knows God. Not to even talk of a pastor. And that's why we have different kinds of pastors today. A pastor carrying gun, killing the wife. That is serious. So I will advise that when we have such a situation, I think separation should be the option before they get to that level. And when that is happening too, I think the matter should be reported to the appropriate authority, the government, the police, so that the brother too will know that if anything happens between himself and the wife, then they can take action against him. In fact, before that time, maybe they would have cautioned him and he would be calm.
calm down.
Like I have said, I will not advise divorce outrightly. I will only advise separation, so that the period of separation will help them to have a rethink. So there could be room for repentance. Maybe the person will come back to his senses, like the prodigal son, and say, I'm sorry, my wife is the devil, and all that. Maybe. Because if you use the word divorce, it means that there's no coming together again. But if you say separation, then they can have a rethink, and the wife will also work on herself. The man too will work on himself. By the grace of God, God has really helped me in this area, and I have some testimony. No, there will always be issues. I mean, there will always be issues, but not to the point that I begin to think of separation or divorce. No, because we have been properly nurtured what to do part time when this one comes. So is it the matter of in-law? I know how to handle it. Okay. Is it the matter of finance? I know how to handle it. Those are the issues that causes problems at home. Yes. So there's no way that two people from different backgrounds coming together that you will say they will not have issue. There will definitely be issue, but we know how to manage it. Well, I met her in the church. Her uncle happened to be my pastor, and of course my father in the Lord. Okay. Like every other young man, when you are praying, you are also searching.
So it's not searching before prayer?
No, I have to pray first before I started searching. And finally, of course, there have been so many people coming to my mind, but finally, I was able to narrow down, because I cannot marry two wives. So that this is going to be my wife. And incidentally, she even knew before my very service.
Wow.
Because it was like she was waiting for me. So if I did not come, so
she will just go.
According to her, God has ministered to her. So some people were going, and she was saying no. This one will go. She said no. Another one will come. She said no. Okay. Then the uncle's wife now said, everybody is coming to you and saying no. Is there anybody you have in mind? He said, Brother Mike is a person. Until he refused to come or is hooked with another person, that is when she will be praying. So, but finally, I appeared. And she embraced me because she had been waiting for me. Of course, she told me she was going to pray, and that took another 3 months.
Wow.
So, even though she knew
She still needed conviction.
Exactly. You know, in our culture, it is not like that. A lady will not come to a man in our culture, otherwise you begin to suspect that she might have some hidden agenda. Our culture does not allow that. Although there are ways by which lady can come, even though they are not going to say it, but the way their movement and you know, there's a way body language, and there's a way they tell you that I am interested in you. So, and if you go and pray, and if God gives you goes ahead, no problem. It can be either way, but culturally, it is wrong. But there should be a way to somebody. If God has told you this, the person you want to marry, you must be the friend. I mean, become a friend of that person. So you must not be too harsh. You must not. So at least accommodate the person in a way.
Yes, we are still right here with Reverend Mike Salam telling us about marriage counseling. Like, I am learning, you understand? So I hope you're also learning. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Here with me is Reverend Mike Salam telling us about marriage counseling and how we can keep our home. And it has been nice talking with him because he has been giving us a lot of tips on how we can keep our home and avoid divorce with all of that. And I am learning, like I am learning, and I hope you're also learning, yes.
Challenge of understanding each other, I mean myself, my wife, was a major one when we started. Okay. Because we are coming from different background. So it took us some time to understand ourselves. And little by little, we gradually overcome that challenge. Because by now, having stayed for 23 years in marriage, we should have been able to overcome some problem, like I would say. Then after that, we also I have the challenge of coping, training our children. Okay. You know, one, as a pastor, you know how much salary we earn, particularly pastor on full time. So it was not easy. And pastor too want to train their children in good school.
Yes.
So I was like, whatever it will take me, I want to give my children good education. But that actually posed a lot of challenges financially. And you can imagine, training children in private school was not easy. I even sent 2 of my children to private university.
Wow.
So, and it was not easy. So those are the challenges. And of course, I don't know, but God blessed me with 4 ladies. Okay.
Wow.
So,
yes, the ladies, the ladies are making the world, so it's really nice.
Yes, and I thank God for their lives. The first set of them, they are set of twins.
Wow.
So then the other one, they came on their own. And they were not follow anybody come.
Yeah, not follow come this time.
No follow come. So we have 4 of them by the grace of God, and 2 of them have graduated from university. The third one is a 500 level at sea. And the last one is already going for SS3 now.
Wow.
So it's not easy. And you girls or ladies, it's not easy coping. Challenges of buying this one, buying that, wanting to do here, all this one. You are very expensive. Even as a father, if I want to go to Baptist salon with 500 naira, I'm done. But my children, they are not like that.
Yes, the statistic has actually proven that women, either they appear expensive or not, women, God has created women expensive.
Very, very,
So,
very expensive.
so that's our pride. Like, we are happy to be one.
Oh, yeah. But they are very, very useful. Very, very. I mean, the children are very. They are blessed children. They are a blessing. They are blessing to us as a family, and none of them can be pushed aside because they are very responsible and dutiful at home. As a human being, you would have loved to have a mix, a mixture.
Yes.
You have children, boys, you have girls, maybe two. But this time they are okay. But I've always been telling my children that they are very unique and very peculiar. And there is this scripture I used to quote for them, Acts chapter 21, verse 8. Philip has 4 daughters. They are all prophesying.
Wow.
They are all virgins. And I was encouraging them, and I say it's not a mistake. If Philip, an anointed man of God, an evangelist, could give birth to 4 girls, God knows about it. And all the children are very useful. I say the most important thing is that you are useful and you are relevant to your generation. And by experience, girls are more useful, especially taking care of their parents. I am a man and I know the role my own elder sister played when our mother was alive. She took care of her mommy more than any one of us. And I'm looking forward to my old age.
Yes,
my
we did. Oh,
grandchildren
now
will
I'm glad I'm a woman.
Hey, yeah.
All right, now let's look at your challenges in the ministry. What are your challenges?
The challenges are enormous. Right from the time God called me. One of the things I was complaining when God called me was the issue of money that I don't want to suffer. And I know going for full time in a Bible college, I will have to buy books, eat, pay any school fees. But somehow God proved me wrong. Because no sooner I started the college than God raised a helper who paid all my bills throughout my college days. That confirmed to me that it was the call of God. So then coming out of the college, I was put on the payroll and they started with 53,800 naira. So and I was preparing for marriage. So as at the time I married, my salary was no more than 5,000.
Wow.
1997, and I have to cope. So when we got married, there was no share. I inherited the share we use as bachelor because I was the last to marry. So I brought it to my house, just 2 of them. And that's the way we started, with black and white television. And the television too was dancing. I mean, every time you put it on, it will always be dancing.
Wow.
Those are the way we started. But gradually, I began to overcome those challenges. The call of God upon my life was so real that people began to come to my aid, helping me here and there. And you will not believe the first car I used was a gift from somebody to at least help me in the work of the ministry. And by the grace of God, I grew through the final rank of our organization. There was a time I was just the resident pastor. From being a resident pastor, I was sent to go and pastor, start a church. Leaving the office of the resident pastor, I started from the scratch again. And by 10 years after that, it was evident that the call of God was upon my life, because by that time, people have been helping me one way or the other. Some people gave me cars, some people. So, but it was very rough at the initial stage. In fact, I must confess that my wife had been a very solid pillar. Because Not every woman can follow that path.
That's great.
Come rain, shine or sunshine, we are always together, suffering together. And that's why I cannot play with her. So now that God is blessing us, we enjoy the blessing together.
We'll be going on this short break, but when we return, we want to know your advice for the next generation, this young generation, like looking at me as a lady and a guy coming to propose to me, hey, I want to marry you. And you just imagine having nothing in the house. What's your advice to those ladies out there who are looking at a guy's portfolio before they accept their marriage?
Well, I said it that we started with virtually nothing. But by the grace of God today, we live in our own house.
Wow.
And a duplex for that matter.
Okay.
That is how much God has helped us. But we have to start from somewhere. So thank God that my wife was not looking at what I had.
What you had then.
So it was just, she was believing that things will get better. And today we are thanking God. Then coming to the aspect of advising the young, the youth about marriage,
Yes.
I will advise that first and foremost they must pray. That is basic. Pray for the will of God, because without God, there's nothing we can do. So once you pray, then you must also believe that your prayer has been answered. Then you must go out searching, especially man. Proverbs chapter 18 verse 22. Whosoever find a wife. You don't sit finding a wife. You have to go out and find a wife. And you can only find a good wife in a particular association you belong, whether church or some other places where you relate well with people. You understand? You can't just wake up and say, I want to go and find a wife in the garage, or I want to go and find a wife just anywhere. Sometimes it could be your schoolmate that you have known for a long time, and after praying, God can begin to prompt you, and you are beginning to remember the person, even though you have met for a very long time. And it could be a brother or a sister in a fellowship. You understand? Of course, 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14 tells us that we must not be unequally yoked with unbeliever. So you must know that the person you are going to marry should also be a child of God, like your very self. So these are basic things you must believe before you begin to act. If you go to a beer parlor or clubhouse to find a wife, you can be sure of the kind of person you are going to get there.
Okay.
So I think you should know where to go when you are looking for a wife or a husband. I think you cannot run away from the fact that it has to be among the children of God if you want to get a very good person.
But not necessarily everyone who is in the clubhouse or who is in the beer parlor are that bad. Some people are just so depressed at home and they just want to go out just to see environment. Do you think it's possible that two godly persons can meet in such environments?
Well, it is possible.
Okay.
It is possible if it is a gathering or maybe a restaurant, maybe you just even a place where perhaps a party.
Okay.
Maybe you follow a friend to that place, you can meet. God can arrange it in a way that you can meet your person anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's possible.
I think that is actually the point I want to
So we
get.
should not be too
strict at a
about
particular
that
place.
It's possible that God arranged it that maybe you follow a friend to a party outside the state where you are, and then there you get, and you find a lady who is you appeals to your person, and then you begin to interact with the person, and then you exchange your phone number. From there, communication begins. And you know, technology has made everything
it easier.
very easy today. So you begin to communicate. From there, you begin to study the person. And if you flow together and pray, and God says, this person is good for you, then you can make the proposal.
Wow.
For me, when I was praying for a life partner, I believe so much in dream that my wife must come through revelation through dream. And there was a confusion because in one night I saw 4 ladies. So, and I was like, which among them now? I knew, because the devil knew that I liked receiving revelation from, information through dreams and that. So I said, no, this is not going to be. How can I go for 4 ladies? Which among them am I going to? I actually attempted to go for one, but God also gave me a revelation. One night, I saw myself as a contractor in that revelation. Okay. So that, as I was, as a contractor, I was given a job to one of the ladies, and she happened to be the carpenter in that revelation. So I told her, please, I would like you to fix this thing here, fix this one here. This I want it to taste and all that. I gave her the description. So on return, the one I asked her to put here, she put it there. The one here, she put it there. Do you know that in my revelation I said, we asked you to come and build a house. You have scattered everything. I woke up. So do I need a prophet to tell me? He said, this lady cannot. So prayer, patience, very, very important. And then counseling, guidance from those who are going through that path. So in fact, the aspect of the place of counseling this day is very key. Because young people can make mistakes. Yes. But you can counsel, no, don't go that way. Sometimes they will be so bent that say, no, I can't, like Samson, I must go for her. I must do this. I don't go, wait now. They say no. So that is why we must engage the services of counselors.
As a young lady or a young guy, okay, let me begin with a young lady. As a young lady, what should I look out for in a man that will qualify marriage, that I can see a future in, to make me accept a proposal? And also, as a young man, what should a young man look out for in a lady to see a future that this is the right woman?
Well, I will say that basically you must be sure that this person is God-fearing, is a child of God. But aside from that, as a lady, if you are going to marry a man, you must be sure of the person you are going to marry. Does he have a job, or does he have a future? Okay. Does he have a certificate? So that you don't end up marrying a lazy person or a liability. Very, very important. Because the man should be able to take certain responsibility. Yeah. But it's only a man who is certificated, who has a certificate, who has a job, that can keep a home going. Exactly. Very, very important. So although the person may not have a job, so to say, or having a job that is not that
bringing the good money.
All right, but then there is a future.
Okay.
So, and that is where ladies have to be careful, because if you are waiting for a man who is already made, who has car, who has houses and all that, you don't know how the man gathered the thing now. And we don't know whether the thing will disappear one day. Does that mean marriage will close? So marriage is a place where you come together, you work it out together.
Okay. So you work out marriage.
Your marriage. So even if your parents help you to get into marriage, they sponsor the marriage, you still need to believe and know that the two of you must now sit together. They have tried for us, and they have done their own. So we have seen their marriage, have succeeded. How do we now work out our own? That is very important.
How about those who always report to parents, like the guys? You understand? Some people always, not only guys though, most people, they always report to parents, Daddy, you brought us together, and this is happening. How do we sort it out?
Marriage is for matured people.
Okay.
Marriage is not for boys, not for girls, not for kids. Only kids report every matter to their parents. So if they know they are now mature, they should be able to manage their marriage. Okay. For over 23 years, we don't report ourselves to anybody. We have been managing our crisis, our challenges. And there is no problem that will make me to raise up my hand to slap my wife. It has never happened. So that is part of maturity in marriage. It's only boys that slap their wife.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that aspect. Thank you so much, sir, for
and for ladies too, or for men.
Okay.
What do they look out for?
And the lady.
In the ladies. Every serious man who is ready for marriage must first and foremost look at the character of that lady.
Okay.
Because there's a Yoruba adage that say, "Obìnrin sọ̀wà, Ọlọ́run olórí ọkọ."
What does that mean, sir?
So you don't have character, you say you have a bad luck in marriage.
That's waiting.
So when you have character, you will stay in your marriage. Character is number one.
Okay.
Very, very key in marriage. So when you have character, you will accommodate your in-law. When you have character, you will know how to manage your husband. So you will not talk anyhow, as if you are talking to your junior brother. So when you have character, it will manifest. And what is character? According to the word of God, it is the fruits that you manifest.
Wow. The fruits you manifest.
Your attitude. You understand?
Yeah.
The way you love, the way you care for your husband, the way you support, and all that. And it will not be only you that will see. Other people will see.
We see it. That's true.
So that's why the Bible says you will know them by their fruits.
That's really a great session with you, sir.
Thank you.
And finally, your advice for young pastors.
My advice for young pastors is that they should be sure they are called into the ministry.
Okay.
Because there are certain things you will see that will make you to run away if you are not called.
If you are not called.
In this ministry, I have had a lot of challenges in this ministry that could have made me to run back. But the assurance of the call of God upon my life keeps me going. You understand? So the Yoruba people say, "Ekpe gbodo daju." And I have one man in my church here who is one of our leaders. When people are telling him, "Go to Bible college," he say, "If Satan attack him, who will he tell that? Who will he say that call him into the ministry?"
Huh? Seriously?
That's what he will say, and it's very, it's true. So if not for the call, one would not be able to stay. But apart from that, ministry is sacrifice. If you cannot sacrifice, you can't stay in ministry. Because there are certain things you will see. Even among members, some of them will treat you with disdain. But you know who called you now. So when they treat you anyhow, you go back to the one who called you. Have you not heard or read about Moses, the way they treated him?
Yes.
But because he was sure of the call of God, he will always go back to God. So that's why somebody must be sure. So then perseverance. Perseverance. That one day I will get there. If I just believe that I will be in the place where my general overseer is tomorrow, I may be telling that. Because it has taken some processes for him to also get there. You understand?
Exactly.
Or I want to say I must become Pastor A. Adeboye next year. It has taken enough time to get there. So our young pastor should learn how to persevere, how to make sacrifices. And Proverbs chapter 18 verse 12 says, it says before honor is humility. So if you cannot humble yourself and serve, even Jesus served, you can't get there. It's not that you wear suit, you carry briefcase and say I'm a pastor. That's not what make people pastor. You have to serve. So I've served several leaders in this organization, and today by the grace of God, they are happy because I am in this present position where God has placed me. So ministry is service, and you have to be humble also.
Wow. That's really amazing. I want to say thank you for having us today. Thank you for inspiring. Like this is a great inspiration to people in the ministry and people finding difficulty in marriages. Like I find it difficult to believe that you could actually say they have never been a time with your wife, that you try to look back. Like that's a testimony to me, and it's really a challenge. I see that as a challenge to everyone out there, and I hope that people will actually see that, and they will also work out their own marriage and see God in it also. And I hope that we'll have you again some other time to talk about something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pleasure. By
Thank
the grace
you
of
so
God,
much.
I will be very much happy to have you around anytime, any day.
Thank you so much, sir.
God bless you.
All right.
God bless your team.
Amen. Yes, before we go off from the program, don't forget, it's the Champions Den. If you have not subscribed, click on that notification bell to always have our updates. Like it is said that great men stand in the shoulders of giants, and it is also said that the secret of champions is in their story. Of course, it's the Champions Den official CD. I am Naomi Oba. Till I come your way again next time for another episode. Stay blessed. Bye.